Welcome back to this special edition of Media Week, coming to you from the Subscription TV's annual gathering, the Astra Conference. Of course, the keynote speaker, James, was Rich Ross, the new CEO of Shine America.
Yeah, best known for his long and successful association with Disney, of course. He's replacing Carl Fennessy, who's moving back to Australia to be co-CEO of Shine Australia.
And you spoke to him earlier. Let's have a listen to that interview.
I guess Shine's perhaps best known for its big reality TV franchises, MasterChef, Biggest Loser, things like that. Is that sort of a new area for you a little?
No, I've actually worked in it earlier in my career. I really 20 years ago, and it's really fun to return to it, and certainly the evolution to make more, I think, inspirational or pro-social reality TV is really a great opportunity today, and so I'm enjoying that.
Will Shine be looking to tap into your expertise to take them maybe into areas they haven't sort of delved in a lot before?
Well, there's nothing, the ambition is great, and there's nothing I think that we can't do. You know, we're certainly focused on the adult side. We have some kids business, which is obviously something I've experienced, long form and short form. I think it's finding the right properties and the right creatives, and it dictates then the opportunity flowing from that.
I remember you were in Australia once with the cast from High School Musical when that was in its early days, and it did massive business, of course, turned into a big franchise for Disney. Are there things like that, that Shine might look at?
Oh, I was asked what I was looking for the future, and I said there are really two things. One is high quality, you know, programming that people really love and certainly makes money and everything else. And then I want something that scales the heights, and that's the aspiration. You know, you never know where you're going to find it, but having worked on something like High School Musical, which resonated globally, someone's going to find the next one, and I hope it's us.
You showed a clip from a new scripted drama that's recently been commissioned. You showed it to the Astra audience today. Tell us a little bit about that program.
Well, there's a big hit show in Sweden and Denmark called Braun, which is translated to The Bridge, that we are adapting for the U.S. with some incredible talent. Comes on in July. Yes, it's about the bridge between two countries. It's obviously metaphorical about the bridge between two people. It's both thrilling from a procedural standpoint, but it's really fascinating from the human standpoint of how the people come together to solve a case. So it's exciting to work on it, and I think people are going to love it.
And tell us a little bit about the customer base for Shine in America. I mean, in Australia, these free-to-air TVs, your big customers, of course. There's less money available for the subscription TV because they're smaller audiences. Is it similar in the US, or are they a bit better funded, some of the big cables?
Well, we are. I mean, we have so many opportunities because there's so many buyers. Even in like scripted one-hour dramas, we're now up to 29 buyers who are paying essentially the going rate for these great stories. It's exploded. 45% more dramas ordered in the last 5 years. So we have a lot of players in the marketplace chasing not necessarily a fickle viewer, but a very hungry viewer.
Lots of press around Netflix is sort of getting into this drama area, commissioning their own content. Do you see that developing big time, and is that going to be, a good area for Shine to get into too?
Yeah, I mean, we have conversations with Amazon and with Yahoo and certainly Netflix. It's super exciting to see these subscription services enter the marketplace. They also enter the marketplace as offering the full array of the episodes, which is really a first. And so it also helps us understand viewer patterns. And the more we understand how viewers want things, I think the greater opportunity for us to serve them well.
You've got a series, are you working with Jack Black on something which I think is going to be delivered on a different platform? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it's a digital property, and to be able to work in that world with such an incredibly funny guy is, it's not the future, it's the today of it all. And people are now looking for shorter form opportunities, often providing for them less commitment, but still the high quality of entertainment, so it's very fun.
Well, another speaker today was Colleen Fahey-Rush, the Executive Vice President and Chief Research Officer at Viacom Media Network. So, James, obviously she looks after the research for all of those brands that the Viacom Media has.
Yeah, and those biggest brands include things like MTV, Nickelodeon, and she had some interesting things to say about their audiences.
Yeah, particularly that millennial generation. Here's what she had to say when we spoke to her earlier.
Millennials are the biggest generation since the boomers, the biggest generation ever. They're about a third of the world's population, and they are a very important part of the audience for several of our brands. And so we really wanted to do this global study to make sure that we know what they think has impacted them, what they would love to solve in the future, what their hopes and dreams are for themselves. And we did it in 24 countries, so it's the biggest study like this ever done.
And what have you found? What do they want and how are they consuming media?
Well, they're first and foremost very concerned about the economy. The global economic crisis, as young as they are, is something that looms very large for them. They're very aware of the fact that their own, maybe their own household has been impacted by it if a parent lost a job or had to take a lower paying job. Their own job prospects are something that they're very concerned about. What makes them happy, in spite of that being such a worrisome thing, is their family and their friends and spending time with them. And that includes spending time watching TV and listening to music. So that's sort of how they cope.
Looking at, I guess, the messages too then that you're getting, not just from the millennials, but across all of your customers, what are they wanting in terms of accessing content across different platforms, different devices?
Well, it used to be that you just watched your favorite show on TV, but the table stakes today for these millennial consumers is that your characters and your show are going to be available 24 hours a day, online, on apps. And what I say is it's never been a better time to be a fan. I mean, it used to just be that if your favorite show was on tonight, you watched it and you talked about it the next day back at work or school. But now you can follow them on Twitter, and it's just an immersive experience, and it's absolutely become the expectation. And so that's how we do program and market to our audiences now.
Looking at smartphones, obviously Australia's very big adopters of that. It's the second biggest in the world, I think you were saying in your research there. So looking at that, I mean, is mobile a real opportunity for subscription TV businesses to grow subscribers?
Oh, I absolutely think so, yeah. I mean, everybody has a smartphone, right? And it's a very personal thing, your phone. And if STV can find a way to maintain their relevance and grow their loyalty to their consumers through that smartphone, that's gold.
What about multi-screening too? I mean, you were sort of touching on that before, but is that going to be extremely important? How do you make that a seamless, experience and not lose the consumer?
Yeah. It's a new experience, and I think that there's sort of a spectrum of second screen experiences while you're watching your show. I mean, it's as simple as texting or Facebooking or not Instagramming so much, while you're watching your show. And then there are dedicated second screen apps, and we've even developed some, and people love those because if we develop them, we can put more content into them. And that's what people want out of any second screen type of experience, is more. They just want more of that show, more of those characters, more of that storyline.
Just wanted to ask you too, in terms of measuring audiences as well, how are you going in the US with, actually combining the total audience watching across all these different devices and consuming? And is that one of your biggest challenges?
That is one of our biggest challenges. We spend a lot of time and effort on measurement. Right now it's not as complete as it needs to be. It really, the currency really only measures television viewing in the home, and we know that television viewing, of course, happens outside of the home, but on things other than TVs, on tablets and smartphones and computers. So right now we have to sort of take the different data that we've got and make sense of it by putting it together, but it's not all coming from one place, one single source. So we really have some advances that we need to make, and as an industry we're working on it together.
And just finally, what do you see as the big trends for 2013 and the future of media, really?
Well, I think that's a really good question. I think it's going to continue to change. I think that consumers, like I said before, have a very high expectation of how they're really going to be able to show their loyalty to a brand and to a show. And we need to embrace that so that they can embrace us back.
Well, just time for a quick look at the TV ratings. This is for week 10. Free-to-air top 10 first, My Kitchen Rules. James, again.
Yeah, look, both 7 and 9 about 4 things. The same thing 4 times in the top 10, The Block and My Kitchen Rules. The Block's really kept 9 in the hunt this first quarter of the year.
And looking at the subscription TV, top 10 for week 10, sport obviously, huge
Yeah,
shift.
Selling Houses Australia and The Walking Dead, again, the two non-sport programs in that top 10.
Now, looking at some of the news coming out of TV, aside from all the media reforms, but Seven has done some recommissions of My Kitchen Rules. This is going to be season 5?
Yeah, look, they want to keep that good vibe going. They've also revealed, they've had a great start to quarter 1. They want to keep that going into quarter 2. So they're going to roll out Celebrity Splash. A lot of people think that's a bit of a gamble. Place to Call Home, big Aussie drama. And House Rules, which is like the Renault follow-up to My Kitchen Rules. So we're going to see if that finds an audience.
Fox Sports has been showing off the new Matty Johns show and Backpage Live.
Yeah, look, Patrick Delaney, the chief executive there, said, look, we want to link our weekends of NRL. So the first week's NRL was in that top 10 chart as well. They want programs every night of the week sort of to draw all that NRL together and keep those numbers up.
Now, the new 10 CEO starts work on Monday. What a job he's got ahead of him at the moment. Of course, this coming up the day after Biggest Loser starts.
Yeah, look, it's day after a lot of things. So Hamish McLennan, first day in the office, the day after Biggest Loser starts, MasterChef, the professional finishes, and the Australian F1, which they have the rights to, one of their sort of big sporting properties. They'd like a few more of those things.
The Logie nominations are out too, and it's going to be Hamish versus Andy.
Yeah, very interesting. So, yeah. Hamish being taken on by his colleague Andy Lee this year. Of course, he won the gold last year. And the Swagger nominations too for some of the subscription TV channels, including Sky News, which is good to see.
Yeah, lots to cover, James. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens over the next week. Thank you, as
Thanks,
always.
Bridie.
James Manning, editor and publisher of Mediaweek. That's all we've got time for from this show, from the Subscription TV's annual gathering, the Astra Conference. Thanks for your company.